What is up guys, welcome back to another video, and today we are talking about the Sony ZVE-10. With the Sony ZVE-10 Mark II releasing in June 2025, as it's been rumoured to, it's looking very good. But that does not push away what we already have, and that is the Sony ZVE-10 Mark I. The design and build quality of the Sony ZVE-10. Now, the actual design of the Sony ZVE-10 is a compact content creation camera that is versatile and easy going. Now, the Sony ZVE-10 weighs roughly 343 grams without a lens. With a lens, you're probably going to hit that 450 mark, but other than that, it is still lightweight and versatile. The button layouts of the Sony ZVE-10 feature an easy ongoing look, with the record button literally at the tip of your finger alongside the zoom rocker and other accesses to your camera settings, whether that is eye tracking, your FN settings, or just changing your ISO of the click of a button. On the side of the Sony ZVE-10, you will find a variety of different switches and ports. Now, the list goes like this: micro HDMI, Type-C, headphone jack, microphone jack. Actually, yeah, that's it. But all of this is an easy insight to a small, compact cinema camera. Now, a lot of you are going to slate me in the comments and be like, this is not a cinema camera, and it's not. But the fact is that all of these options within the camera, you technically can make a small production out of this camera. The Sony ZVE-10 comes with a 3-inch LCD articulating screen. Now, this is very good for photographers because you can just turn on DMF mode, see what's in focus, and let the camera do the rest. But with filming, it's quite more difficult because you don't know if you're going to be seeing any slight harsh black lines, any bit of anti-flickering in the background, or if your ISO is a bit too high to where you'll have what's called grain. See, this actual screen does come in handy, but I have very bad eyesight. So my genuine personal opinion is that it's too small. So I'm actually using an external monitor right now to see how I look, because otherwise I wouldn't know if I'm overexposed or if I'm getting what we call black lines. So let's do a quick description on black lines. Black lines are caused from what's called rolling shutter, and the ZVE-10 has really bad rolling shutter. It means where if you move your camera side to side, you're gonna get a kind of like a warp effect instead of a nice, dreamy, romantic kind of look. And yes, I did say romantic. But this is also an issue when it comes to artificial lights. Now, I work with a lot of artificial lights, and there's been plenty of times where I've had black lines. Now, if you do work with artificial lights, but still really want to get the ZVE-10, I urge you to make sure that your camera settings are correct, because if they're not, you're gonna find it very frustrating to go back and record every time you miss that tiny black line. The menu system. While the menu system isn't actually touch optimized, it is very easy to look through. With the 4-way wheel, you can navigate through the actual system settings depending on your likes, preferences, and what you think is suitable for your needs. Personally, like the actual navigation through this camera. It's very easy. It details what you're actually looking at and doesn't over-exaggerate with words. It just keeps it simple as it is. For example, let's say I want to turn anti-flicker on. With Sony cameras, it's very simple. Anti-flicker, turn it on. Lens compatibility. Now, unlike the Sony ZV-1, which is a fixed standard lens, the Sony ZVE-10 offers interchangeable lenses, meaning you can actually take your lenses and switch them out for a different look. I don't have any lenses on me at the moment, they're over there, but example, I can fit, let's just say this is a Sony lens, I could fit this lens on my camera right now and have a different versatile look. See, the Sony E-mount collection offers different varieties for your needs. I personally like the 50mm f1.8. I'm currently using the Sony kit lens, which is a Sony 16-50 OSS lens, optimal steady shot lens. It is a 3.5. I want to soon switch to a 1.8, and at the moment, obviously, to do so, it's like £400, so that's quite expensive. But I'm just proving the Sony ZVE-10's capabilities. This video does look great, and this is from the kit lens. So imagine you wanted to swap out for a lower f-stop, or a lower millimeter, or a higher millimeter. You are gonna get some crisp, really clarited images from this camera. Video quality and features. Now, the Sony ZVE-10 is a 4K camera, but when you first buy the Sony ZVE-10, it's fixed on 1080p. You have to go into your settings and switch it to 4K if you want the highest setting. The actual Sony ZVE-10 is an oversampled 6K sensor, which is then basically downsized into 4K. But with that being so, is that you have really clarited and detailed features on your actual video. If you want to get more details in the face, the eyes, the ears, it is a 6K sensor downscaled into 4K. Autofocus performance. Now, Sony is a well-known brand for their eye-tracking autofocus. With the Sony ZVE-10, also have that. You can eye-track your subjects as well as face recognize your subjects depending on what you're shooting and where you're shooting. Basically meaning if you don't have the movie mode setting on, you can actually face recognize someone in your shot and keep them in focus regardless of how many people are actually in the shot. This is amazing for keeping your subject sharp and in focus 24/7. It is a brilliant use for anyone that is either vlogging, as this camera is recommended, small productions, and again, some content creation like I'm doing now. I'm actually being eye-tracked, keeping me in focus and keeping me sharp and crisp. Additional features. Now, the Sony ZVE-10 offer a variety of different features catered towards your needs. One of them being C1 mode, which then defocuses your background, making you more standing out and also allowing for that beautiful bokeh look. You can then change this effect to what's called product showcase, smoothly defocusing yourself and allowing whatever's in front of the camera to have the highest focus. If I put this in front of the camera, I am now defocused and the product is in the highest quality that the camera can give you. Audio capabilities. Now, the Sony ZVE-10 offer an in-body microphone, and it's quite decent. We're going to take a look at that right now.
Today we're going to highlight its benefits and key features so you guys can get a good insight. But let's start with the first touch.
And if you don't want to use the onboard mic that Sony provide, you do have a 3.5mm jack on the side of the camera, like I explained before, so you can add external audio. And if you don't want to use a 3.5mm jack, you also have the horseshoe on top of the actual camera, which allows for an interface for wireless connectability for microphones that allow it. Battery life. Now, this is where I'm honest, and I will be honest. The Sony ZVE-10 battery life isn't the best. It does say on paper 80 minutes, but I will be genuinely honest with you, you're lucky to get 30, and that is without external inputs. See, I started recording this actual video at 100%. I've now been recording for 10 minutes, and it is now at 66%. So if you want to buy the Sony ZVE-10, you will have to get either really good batteries or an external battery to charge your ongoing shoot. Now, on the side of the camera, it does allow for Type-C charging. If you do want to charge the camera whilst recording, you can do so. But just keep in mind, I would personally add a dead battery, or as we call a dummy battery in the film industry, so you don't actually damage your proper batteries for going on the go and traveling. Who should buy this camera? Now, when Sony released this camera, their target audience was beginner filmmakers or content creators that are intermediate, meaning that if you want to record simple YouTube videos, content creations, and day-to-day vlogging shoots, you can do so with this camera. That is their target audience, and that is why it was made. If you want to buy the Sony ZVE-10, I'll leave a link in the description of a good place where I personally got mine, And again, I've used mine ever since, I've loved it, and I don't think I'll be switching for a while. Right guys, I have been Guy Tech Reviews, also known as Reese Guy, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care guys.